Is it live?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, heavy hitters, how are you tonight? So, just so you know, I'm a little under the weather. I'm not accustomed to being sick. So, I remember when I was out there shooting heroin, I could be out sweating my ass off in a slingshot in the middle of January and never get sick. Uh, So the reason I'm sitting down with you tonight is because apparently I had misspoke last night. I told you I'm sitting down to do a live one tonight, and what I meant by that was I was sitting down doing an interview here at the house. It's going to be a rocking interview. Beautiful young lady, very courageous, coming out, putting her story out there. You know, uh, so a lot of you guys come over from Fresh Out. I told you that I try to like that takes a certain mindset to go back in there. And I'm going to give you a little of that tonight. I'm going to tell you right now the most horrific riot that I was ever in is already on Fresh Out, I believe. Uh, it was during the Rodney King riots. It was probably the scariest time of my life. But that was just one of many scary, scary situations. When they first opened Supermax, LA County Supermax, uh, that place was so off the chain. So when and it because it was brand new, you have to riot to establish whatever you're going to establish. But what they would do is it's a pod it's a 180 is what we call it. So you could see into all three pods from the control booth, and after court would happen, they'd come back. The kites would be start flying to each dorm, and saying what time it was going off, and it would go off at the particular time. You know, the Southsiders would let the whites know what time it was. And so, just so you're completely aware, I know a lot of you guys do not understand this in other countries, do not understand this in the East Coast. Um, it's great that you don't understand it and that this isn't something that occurs everywhere. But as soon as you enter Los Angeles County Jail, you get what's called a racial hate ducat. And you're going to abide by that ducat. Because if you're caught talking to anybody that you're not supposed to be talking to, or trading anything you're supposed to be trading with, uh, it's going down on you. You're getting regulated. And so, anyway, back to Supermax. I remember coming back from court. One of the Southsiders that had the dorm came and he's like, "Hey, Badger, you know what's up?" I'm like, "Nah, but I can feel what's up, bro. It's in the air. You know what I mean? Like, it's everywhere. It's the whole building." And that's sort of how it goes down is the whole building, the whole facility would go off in different dorms so that there's just not enough uh, CERT team to come, crashing in there. They got to call for backup. And by then, the damage is so done. It's just crazy what human beings could do as far as tearing tables off, metal tables, benches off, tearing bunks apart, breaking broom handles. You try and make sure that it's in there like after chow to where we're doing cleanup. That so there's more weapons. The mop bringer, all that stuff, and that's why everybody knows, and you can feel it in the air. Everybody knows, even whites, blacks, Mexicans, others, whatever, you all know what's going on, even if you haven't heard, because it's so thick in the air. You know, uh, and it sounds really exciting, huh? Until you're there, it really sucks. You know, uh, skull. Um, so those situations would occur regularly. Remember, you guys, when you ask me questions from time to time, we're talking back in the 80s, early 90s. It was so active, and it's gotten, even inside, it's sort of getting politically correct to some degree, mind you. Now they want to talk about things. Um, they want to go to this shot caller, to that shot caller, to the PC rep or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just I wouldn't understand how things are done today. Before it was like, hey, bro. So it's like a high school. Um, one little thing starts getting whispered about, and the next thing you know, it's you could just feel the tension in the air. Uh, so you program anyway. You wear your boots to the showers. This is county jail, mind you. So if you had boots, you were fortunate enough to have boots. You were fortunate enough to have your Nikes or your shoes that didn't get beat up for and taken because you were down for your shit. Even if you did get beat up, sometimes you get to keep your shit because you got down. You don't see a lot of people getting down in there when they come in off the streets. They're soft. They wanted to be a tough guy, and they got there and found out that tough guys just not in their vocabulary. And I'm not a tough guy, but I always stand up when it's time to stand up. That's what I know. Take the licks I got coming. I in Hall 40, which is a release line and receiving and release line in MCJ, Men's Central Jail. I was jumped twice in there by a bunch of. There were about 8 of them. They were just going round and round, pulling all the white boys' pants out, checking for their money bags. And I'm not going to go into the whole story, but they got to me, and I'm just an idiot. I know I'm looking at time, and I'm not going to have it be heard that I let them just take my shit. So I recall I got like, you got me fucked, and that's about all I got out. Got knocked fuck out. So I got up and I assaulted the first person of color that just did that to me because what else did I know how to do? I didn't know how else to do anything. I wanted to lash out at somebody, and after that I couldn't breathe for like 6 weeks. The next time I woke up, I was being pulled out on a sheet by a couple trustees, and the sheriffs were escorting us out. And everyone's just sitting down. Nobody knew what was up. It was all done. It was a wrap. This white boy got smashed. Big deal. So you guys are going to hear a lot of smashing stories because I've been smashed a few times, guys. You know what I mean? You can't beat numbers. So it don't matter if you are a tough guy. You learn to don't scream and just handle your business. You get knocked out, you get knocked out. Hopefully you don't get your cheeks taken. You know what I mean? I know for a fact that they haven't been taken. So I just want to say this to you guys because you guys are the loyal ones. You're here right now. Thank you so much. Today's the day that YouTube has decided to monetize us. You know how much good I'm going to do with that? And I'm sorry that I'm not getting back at the comments as quick because, work shows up. I got to do what I got to do as far as keeping the bills paid or this and that, and then going through 500 comments a day. And a lot of you guys know I do try and answer the comments, and any donations, I'm definitely answering their questions, because I stepped out of my element and I rented a bed for some people that want to get off the streets. They gotta really want it. And I put them in that bed, and you guys gave me the courage to do that. I thank you all for that as well. Man, this little cold. I never had a cold that I can recall from. Got to put in a medical ducket. So on the medical ducket, by the time they pull me out to go to medical, I'm already going to be better. You may as well just not even worried about it. So, and not that they give a crap about you when you get down there anyway, Speaking of doctors and stuff, there's a dentist up at Jamestown. So, hey, California, you're going to know who I'm talking about. His name's Mad Max. So, I remember this kid, he came in all methed out, mouth just meth mouth. And he had to have, I think it was 22 teeth pulled or something, and they did it all in one day, and he's all like, this dude just buried his knee in my chest and got busy, and I was thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't have to go to the dentist here. So, but part of the program in the institutions is you get up, you brush your teeth, you start cleaning your cell, make sure the toilet is clean. You do not spit in the sink. If you have cellies, you do not spit in the sink. You spit in the toilet. Flush the toilet. Every time you fucking hear one splash, flush it fast. You know what I mean? That's just like cell etiquette. Sit there and stew and marinate. As soon as something comes, bam, hit the toilet. You'll hear the toilet flushing 20, 30 times. You know what I mean? So, like all these situations, Los Angeles County Jail was probably one of the most horrific facilities for all this Braveheart shit you guys want to see or hear about. All that other stuff that you see on the TVs, it's all glorified for television, I would say. Um, I'll tell you what, those guys just committing minor crimes, that are stuck down there on 1 or 2 yards, they're probably the most active yards. So, and when I say active, they're fighting. They're mostly just chunking them. You know what I mean? There's not really so many. They're not. So they have what they call a no hands policy on upper yards, which means if you got to do it, you got to do it. You got to put heat in them. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do, and it's not about fighting because we don't want to go on lockdown and not get our packages, not get to store. Come on, beautiful. Um, we don't want to do all that. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to take a second and let you know partially why I do this. Hey, Badger. I just wanted to say thank you for the positive message you're spreading to the world, especially through YouTube. I've been watching you since fresh out, and it's really helped me through some major struggles. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm writing you this on my 1 month, 30 days, man. That's so beautiful. It's exciting, and once you get a little time, it's not as exciting. So we need you guys that are, 3 days, 1 month. We need you raising your hands and telling us because we know the struggle, you know. And I wanted to say the reason for the prison stuff is going to be on Patreon is because you guys don't know what kind of mindset you have to go into to go back. So you go back, and our minds are wired to recall the feelings we were feeling as we're remembering the memory, and it's not always comfortable. On those nights that I did those videos for Herc, and hey, shout out to Big Herc, and Fresh Out, and crew. But those nights that I would do these things with them, and I would have to conjure up all the stuff that occurred back then, they weren't always the most comfortable evenings, and so I say it a lot, what I mean? But that's because my program is pretty much the same. Sorry, guys. No disrespect. My program is pretty much the same, I have to get up and I have to start getting right into the positive because otherwise all this shit so picture this. You're in Los Angeles County Jail, all right? You've been into a few situations. You're the 2,000th floor in the hole or wherever they're trying to do the hole now. I don't know, but I assure you, so there's a bunk here and there's a bunk here, but you guys are not in the same cell. They're single man cells, but you guys are not in the same cell. He's sleeping directly above you. If you hit his bunk like that, you're hitting his bunk, and you do that enough times, you can know that it's on as soon as the doors crack, But imagine sitting there for weeks, sometimes 45 days between court dates, in the dark, not moving anywhere, with nobody but you and your mind. So for people that think fucking doing these things is glorious, oh yeah, and then you go outside and you're just like, oh my God, look at that, a tree, and you're getting on the bus and you're so full of anxiety and everybody got their cuffs on and they're walking with their hard look, you know what I mean? And it's real, you just have to fall into the role that you need to fall into. So one of my boys out here that I respect, he's sort of tripping on Badger's new behaviors, and Badger's new behaviors are to not return to the penal system, so he's like, hey man, I get that you're trying to be on a spiritual level, but where's the dude that I grew up hearing stories about the things that he did? And like my pride and ego got involved for a second, and I thought, so I just right away asked to be relieved of the bondage itself because I was going there, and I go, well, I'll tell you where he isn't. He isn't back in prison, which is where I feel my boy's headed to, man. I keep trying to pull him. And it sucks when so some of the things that I do miss about prison, since, that's a pretty big question I would ask or think, some of the things I miss is the loyalty, sometimes even the treachery, can't say the food. So back in the 80s, barely 90 up to probably about 92. You know, we get used to have like we'd get the little skirt steaks and they'd have the bones in there. That wasn't good ideas. So they cut all that out, you know. And then the Muslims were always 602 in the kitchen because so we'd have pork on the line. And that's what we'd have to write a sign and tape it up in the chow hall, pork on the line, so that the Muslims they either chose to eat it or they didn't. I think they say no pork on my fork, you know, no swine. So I just want to say thank you guys, you know. So what I'm planning on doing is just setting that a weekend aside and putting some stories out there for you. I still have to be careful, you know what I mean? It's not like you get out of a situations that we've been in, come out here and just forget about it. Like you get to go back to resume program, you know, still modified program even when you're not active. You know, you still touch bases, roll call, whatever you guys want to call it. I don't know, but this shit's all irrelevant to me. But I'm never gonna forget where I've been. That's for sure. It's formed me into the man that I am today. I used to regret it all. So imagine sitting in there for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know what I mean? And every now and then, if you're lucky, super lucky, you can get a book. Somehow, some way, you get a book. But it's really pretty dark in there anyway. So your eyes are going to get screwed up. I know, because mine are screwed up. And then you get to go outside and you get that first taste of nasty, stale, fresh air, though. You know what I mean? It's fresh air. It's crazy, you know, and you get to see trees and buses, and then obviously, so even back then, I suppose I was learning appreciation for some things, you know. You sit in a box long enough, and then you get to go outside, and so let's say you're in the shoe, right? A corker in the shoe is, you go out to cages that are exactly like your cell outside, your individual cages, or if you have a play buddy in your cell with you, then you guys, you know, if you're not single cell status, then you got a friend in there, I guess, or somebody you hate anyway. But at least you got something to play with every now and then, fight on the weekends, something, you know. And so just even getting to go out to the yard from there and just seeing desert, nothing but desert, you know what I mean, a tumbleweed here and there, that was exciting, you know what I mean, a beat staring at those walls, counting the bricks. Oh my God. So yeah, it's, I don't know. I see Magic over here writing some questions down. So you got questions there?
No, I have
Oh,
your super chats.
okay.
You know,
Tyler Castillo, thank you. Takini Speak? Takini Speak, thank you. E-Buff, thank you. You know, so I'm going to be putting all that to good use, guys, just so you know. I mean, you still have to wait like 28 days and then mail time. So I'll have to figure out what I'm doing as far as taking care of that bed this month myself. Thursday night, you guys are here. You know, it just shows me. And now you guys are becoming a community. I've seen the chat going on beforehand. I love that. You know what I mean? It's great. Because a lot of you guys are needing someone's help. You know, I know my girl, JD, Kenneth, you know, I don't want to go into a whole bunch of names right now, but they're all reaching out, and now they're, you know, Instagramming on it. You know what I mean? So like a community is building. You know, I want this channel to grow, of course, and I want you guys to grow, and then make some acquaintances through here that, you know, you can touch bases with. Let them know where you're coming from, because not everyone has a great day. Like this morning, I had a dream about the shoe last night, actually, and I woke up to that. Hi, baby. I'm sorry. Hi, beautiful. It was a little dark, you know, and lost where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so I reached out, you know, and I called one of my little rays of sunshine, and I was like, man, I didn't open my mail yesterday. Fucking, I gotta take care of this stuff today. So I was so stuck in self, you know, and like I gotta drive all the way across the valley and do I got the gas? Blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. You know, and then she goes, Badger, you don't gotta do any of that shit. You get to. Like, so having my own words thrown at me, she's right. She was right. I had to step up and I get to do all this, man. And like, it was that simple. Someone else pulling my covers, letting me know, hey, you're trying to be a public figure. You know what I mean? People are watching you, watching your behaviors. That makes me accountable. You know, you guys are asking for gear, you know what I mean? Heavy hitter shirts. And I just want to know that if you're wearing it, you're really representing it, you know? I say all the time, a few lines that I have to tell myself all the time. That's why they get said all the time. You know what I mean? The world is full of good people. If you can't find one, be one. That's by the book. Can I say what it is? So Bruce Lee wrote that. I do read a lot of his philosophies, and I think that's just awesome. So that's what. But if that's on a shirt and my name's on the front, and your behaviors aren't matching that, you know what I mean? That's why I was sort of hesitant at first, and then I'm thinking, man, they probably wouldn't invest in a shirt unless they were fully supporting what was being said, and they were going to represent that out there as well. Because there's nothing like having a shirt on that says the world's full of good people. If you can't find one, be one, and you're sitting in traffic, throwing someone the bird, man. We're all trying to change for the better. I know that. Dang. So I took a little Claritin, hoping it would clear it up. My head's pounding, and I just wanted to touch bases with you guys because of last night, me miscommunicating what was being said. So, on that note, I guess, sorry guys, I'm just sort of cutting it short because I got, my nose is stuffed up. I got a headache. I was trying to think of what I wanted to bring you. So I know a lot of you guys want the hardcore stuff, and sure, I'm going to throw a little bit of that out for you every now and then because that's what helped me. Living through that is what got me to be as desperate as I was to seek a better way. So I'm going to look into shirts this week. Hopefully, they go, because that'll be one more way to help me take care of pulling some of these people that I'm trying to pull off the streets. I just went, so a lot of you guys know some things happened at my old apartment, and unfortunately she's gonna Ronnie Sanchez, good looking out, my boy. Appreciate that. Respect. So I was over there packing up all his clothes today, and I'm like, man, the homeless is about to be happy. And now I read a comment today stating, I don't give a shit about the homeless and them drug addicts I just like your stories, Badger. And so, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I can almost assure you that I may have shared that opinion at one time too. I'm like, why are these people weak? We're all perfectly flawed. But I can tell you this about the majority of those homeless people. So they've been abused since they were out of the womb in one way or another. They'd never been told I love you without the other person getting something out of it, I can assure you. Or they've been to war, they bit off more than they could chew, and they saw things that they didn't want to see, and now they feel they watch their homeboy get blown to pieces, whatever the case may be, because I deal with a lot of the vets, it's hot, I don't know. It's fucking church in here. So I just want you to know, I wish you would look at people different. Nobody knows their stories, their struggles, or their pain. Most of them have sold themselves so many times, their flesh, their morals, their integrity, whatever the case may be. I love you, Nicole Mallon. I better see you tomorrow. So, when you see a homeless person, man, so a lot of you guys are asking about, hey, I feed them at Thanksgiving. Guess what, guys? You don't have to wait for Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? I guarantee you, if you start putting good stuff out into the universe, it's going to come back to you. That's the only reason I do it today. It's proven itself again and again and again. It comes back to me. Every magical thing that I do, even when I'm struggling and I see a homeless dude at 7-Eleven just buying some water or something. He's not trying to buy a beer. I'm like, I got that, bud. You know what I mean? Even when I'm broke, I still got that, bud. You know what I mean? Save your money for a beer later or whatever. I don't know. But I don't know what they do and I don't care. When I give them money, I don't care what they're doing with it. That's why I would never go hand somebody their money to pay the rent at the sober living or something like that. I would never do any of that. I'm going to totally do it the responsible way. I'm going to make sure I pay their bed. If they need clothes, cool. If they need some food, cool. Hey, I'll cruise to the store and get you something. I'll look out for you. You know, and I don't expect my passion to be everyone's passion, but my passion's, I found what works for me, you know, and I keep putting it in the universe and it keeps coming back to me in every way. Nikki, are you watching? I can't believe it. I'm really embarrassed. So, it's my little stepdaughter. So, that's another thing, you know, like, so I have to think about the shit that I say because lots of people are watching this, you know, and there's lots of judgmental people out there. I mean, I could cure cancer and still get a few thumbs down, I guarantee it, you know. And so we're just going to get off that whole subject. I don't even want to go there again. For those of you leaving comments on every video, respect, man. Thank you. You helped build this channel, you know. I hate that I say you know all the time. It's driving me nuts. So I'm glad we're not sitting at the chow hall table together saying that. I hope this tea works. So apple cinnamon and some kind of whatever is supposed to clean you out. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bring this to a close tonight. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you guys get to stay chatting after I hang up. They get to stay chatting? So I guess, you know, if you guys want, just keep reaching out to each other on there. Nah, I mean, right? I'm going to work on that for you. How's that? I'm going to work on that because I hate it too. I hate when I watch a video of me because I'm nervous and I hear, you know what I mean? Know what I mean? So, but that's just something else that's been ingrained to me. It's the standard low IQ prison talk, you know, whoop whoop whoop, and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, like it's just, and it's so contagious that everybody's doing it. It's not like it is out here on the streets with people throwing the N-word around inside there. I promise you that's not going down. You know, well, it wasn't going down when I was there. I'm just going to say that. And I've managed to do what I'm doing and stay out for a minute.
Rigo Sanchez, what would you tell a younger version of yourself?
What would I tell a younger version of myself? I promise you this. I guarantee you this. It wouldn't matter what I told them. I wasn't willing to listen back then. I had to have my own errors, my own trials. At first, I would say just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Try to get a 3-year-old to eat broccoli.
Right, try and get a 3-year-old to eat broccoli. So, I mean, people ask me that all the time, you know. And since I am trying to reach out to the youth and trying to get them to not make the same mistakes, I would tell myself, man, it doesn't matter what I would tell myself, you guys, because we have to go through all that stuff I had to go through all that stuff to get where I'm at mentality-wise today. You know, when you've been in enough scruffles to go, well, hang on, maybe we ought to look at this whole situation. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden you start analyzing stuff. It's chess, guys. I don't just play checkers. I don't storm in there. What was the show? Colors. So the young bull tells the cow, you know, let's run down there and fuck one of them cows. And the old bull was like, nah, man, let's stroll down there and fuck them all. You know, like, that's the best way. That came with age. The old bull was like, yeah, let's just stroll down there and fuck them all. Fuck, you know what I mean? So all this stuff has to be acquired through life's learning skills. You know, I learned not to run my mouth in wrong situations. I learned to listen, not to respond. but to understand. You know, that's something that took a lot of work, and then it got to the point where I didn't even know how to listen because I really didn't hear anybody other than a correctional officer knocking on my door. Cuff up, shower time. You know, so cuff up, yard time. You know, and then you just shaved your head. Just the day before was shower day, you just shaved your head, and they take you out there in Corcoran, and at all the facilities, I would guess this is going down at all the facilities, and they stick you in that little cage of chain link fence, and if it's a nice, beautiful, hot day, they'll leave you out there till your whole dome is purple. You know, you're supposed to get your little hour, and they're like, "Oh, be lucky, guys, you're getting extra time." You're like, "Get me out of this friggin' sun before I die." You know, you're in there, and you're already so pale. So, like, when you see guys that are ghost white coming from the county jail, you know that they've been in there for a minute. You know, because there's no sunlight, there's no nothing. You know, and so here's how they do it too for the roast, just so they can justify that they called yard. So at like 4:30 in the morning, they'll have like a trustee walk down, and he'll walk down the thing, and he'll be like, "Yard, yard, yard." Not any other announcement is announced loud and proud, right? Yard time, whatever. You know, I mean, at 4:30 in the morning, ain't nobody getting up. Everybody just falling asleep anyway. Those that aren't going to court are just falling asleep anyway because it's lights out and it's quiet time, but you're still up doing whatever you're doing. You know, don't get regulated for making noise in the cell after the lights out. You know, there's consequences for everything. If you can't follow the rules out here, you're in trouble in there, guys. I'm just saying. And it's so sad to see all these people giving up the rest of their lives for a neighborhood they're never going to see again, except for maybe on TV. You know, and then they get all excited. I remember just riding the county jail bus, and oh my God, you guys, driving through the valley, sitting in that little cage up in the front, cuffed up, all janky. You know, I could come out of cuffs pretty quick, so I would generally just take them off and keep my hands low, and just rolling through the neighborhood with oldies playing. Oh my God, that was like the most brutal torture ever. So if they really, really superly wanted to torture us, they could do that once a month. Pull you out of wherever you're at, put you on the bus, and roll you through the neighborhood, and your heart's just going to wrench, man. Knowing your girl's sleeping with someone else, your kids ain't there. I wish you guys would make your names easier to announce. So, AK, appreciate you. L, Muñeco? Muñeco? El Muñeco.
You heard from Have you heard of Toker from Brownside?
So, I'm not going to go into who I know and all this and that. You know what I mean? Let's just say I know a lot of fellas. So, I've been in 9 different institutions. Never trust anybody that's been at one institution too long, you guys. Never. There's something wrong with them. Something's going on with them. Why are you still here? You know, like you're supposed to get in the mixes because, you know, every year we got the Cinco de Mayo riot for sure. You got Christmas time when everyone's burning their shit. New Year's, everyone's burning their shit, throwing it out of their cells. It's off the chain, you know, just chaotic. And then, so after dealing with all that and then being stuck in, say, solitary, being stuck in solitary, and the only thing that you have talking to you,
Zachary Schimbeckler, he's the first Patreon.
Zachary Schimbeckler, you're our first Patreon. That's right, boy. Respect, man. Thank you. You know, absolutely, you can get a shout out. I appreciate you. What was I just telling about?
Being in the same place too long.
I got lost. I'm lost. That's why I don't read the comments. You know, I should wait till the end to do this for you guys because I like to try and stay on track. Oh yeah, them being in a particular penitentiary for years upon years. There's something. He's a non-programmer. I don't want to say anything because some of you guys might have people out there that have been at the same pen, but there's usually something janky about them. You know what I mean? If they haven't been to the hole. You know, so if they go home and come back to the yard every now and then, that's good. But, you know, guys, I can assure you, there's a couple of holidays that you're definitely going to riot on. probably gonna have a few suicides here in a minute. What's Valentine's Day's coming up, right? Halloween, you're thinking more of your kids, and you're sitting in there with that hollow despair, lonely feeling again. Um, if you were lucky enough not to have a girl when you went to the joint, it does make it easier. I let go of all ties. I paid the price for that too. I don't know, guys. I've already been. My nose is just now starting to clear up. More tea, please. So, I just wanted to sit down with you guys tonight, talk to you for a few, let you know some of the things that go on in there, and it's not all glorious, guys. And then we have to come out here. So you're sitting in a cell so long after hearing all this chaos in the county jails and everything's going down all the time, and then the only thing you hear is the vent. Pretty soon it starts talking to you. You sit in there, man, whatever. Don't kill that cockroach, catch that cockroach. Use a little bag of corn nuts, tie your shoestrings to it or some thread, and put a couple corn nuts in there, and try and catch Freeway Freddy. Whoosh, you know what I mean? So at least you got a little pet mouse in there. Freeway Freddy is famous in Los Angeles County Jail, as well as I'm sure all his cousins are famous in every other county jail. So we're talking about a mouse or a rat or whatever. If it's a rat, don't pull it back in your cell. So the little mices are cool, you know what I mean? Won't eat you, right? So anyway, Magic and I are going to sign off for the night, and I do appreciate you coming on. JD, love and respect always. Some people want it to happen. Some people need it to happen. The heavy hitters make it happen.
Lockdown 23-1 just gave you $20.
Lockdown 23-1?
Just gave you $20.
Hey, Lockdown. Thank you, my boy. Respect.
Nest Planner, New York's Nest Planner, the business helper, just gave you $50.
Respect, man. Nest Planner?
Yeah, they're a
Nest Planner, thank you so much.
Small businesses.
They start small businesses. That's beautiful, man. I like that. Maybe we need to look into that. So, guys, I'm sorry if you're going to get upset about this, but I'm going to throw a positive message out there. Try and do something with your life. He's just bringing up they help start small businesses. Right now, people can get jobs. There's no excuse to be laying around on an Obama phone when our unemployment rate is up. That's, you know what I mean? If you want a job, you'll find a job. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Hey, have a good night.
I'm sure Nest Planner has lots of people.
How do I shut it off? Good night, guys.